Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I'm here to review the third and final season of Marvel's Runaways, or shall I say Hulu's Runaways. Now, Runaways is a show that I quite like. It's out of the two team, it's a bit teen drama-y, but I've often said that I can accept the teen drama aspect of stuff. Like, I'm not, if you've ever talked, if you know me, you know that I am not the biggest fan of the teen drama, thing. Like, I can never really get into 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club or things of that nature, or even movies like that. I could never get into the, what was that movie, that came out not that long ago? The, 17, I can't remember. I think it's called, like, 17 of, like, I can't remember the name of the movie, but I know it was about teenagers. It's just hard for me to get into that kind of stuff because unless it's an outright comedy, like a Superbad, I can't really get into it. Like, I need a way in. I need a genre in. For instance, Fright Night, horror comedy teen drama. Teen thing, but I can get into it with the horror comedy, and I'm like, okay. And that's how I am about the genre in general. You gotta give me a way in, either something horror or superhero. It's why I love Spider-Man Homecoming so much, because I love Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, and because they are teen stuff, but the superhero, because like, I often feel like a lot of the teen stuff is so blown up, because, and granted, like, this is just my experience when I was a teenager in high school. I was never, like, I was dramatic, but they usually make the kids about 7. I was dramatic, but I don't think I was ever that dramatic. The dramatic that they make it seem like. Like, I never looked at a girl and thought that she was going to be the love of my life and I was going to marry her. I never, like, made the big deal out of prom. I never made a big deal out of, I never made a big deal out of many things in high school. Not really. I had my friends, I talked to popular kids, I talked to, non-popular kids, I hung out with people who would be considered non-popular, hung out with people who would be considered popular. It was like, none of that was a thing in high school, so when I see stuff like that play up in movies and stuff, it just doesn't resonate with me. So, like I said, I need a way in. And Runaways, to me, did a great job of giving me a way in. First of all the characters, Gert, Alex, Nico, like, all of them are just so different. They're so different. They're so unique from each other. And not to mention, like, they play types, but they kind of make fun of the type barriers too. Because one of my favorite things is with Chase, the character named Chase. And Chase in the comic books is typically is a scientist. In the comic books, it's the Runaways is a lot bigger. It's like, but that's all things. In the comic books, the Runaways are a lot more over the top. Like Nico has this one called the Staff of One. Now, they did keep the Staff of One looks like the Staff of One straight from the comics. They even managed to bring in the aspect of cutting herself to summon it from her body, like in the original comics. The difference is the Staff of One in the comics is, like, insanely powerful. And it's powerful in this, but, TV budget, TV special effects, you can only make it look but so powerful. Also, like, their parents were super villains, not just, like, evil people. Like, not just, bad people. Like, because in the show, sure, their parents are working with someone who would be considered a super villain, but they themselves are just, doing morally bad things for what they deem as the right reasons. So they're not really super villains. But in the comics, their parents are super villains. I'm talking like full-fledged super villains. I'm talking I think someone's parents travel through, actually Chase's parents are time travelers, which is something they integrated into the third season, which is a nice touch. They did keep that, Gert and Molly's parents were, like, well, Gert's parents were, biological engineers, but in the comics, they, like, engineer crazy shit, monsters and shit. Like, they don't just, because, like, they did make Old Lace, the Velociraptor, but in the comics, they made a lot more than that. But I'm just letting you know, just in case you wanted to go read the comics, it's a great adaptation. Runaways is a great adaptation. I'm telling you, it's one of the best adaptations. Because the first season wasn't Runaways the comics. The first season, they did something different. They did something where they showed you the parents' perspective on and why the parents are doing what they're doing. That is actually something that wasn't in the comics. In the comics, you just see the teenagers reacting to what the parents are doing. They're supervillains. We gotta run away. That's how they get the names. But in the show, the first season really is focused on showing why the parents are doing what they're doing, why they feel like they should do what they do, and why they're doing what they're doing. And that was basically the whole first season is table setting. It's table setting, showing you how the characters feel about each other. And the second season was them on the run. They were fun. The second season was really the Runaways. Now this is the comic. The second season was more closely aligned with the comics. There was a lot going on. Like, the second season, there wasn't, a lot going on. I just said that like a blanket statement. I will say, the one problem I would say that this show ended up kind of bogged down by is, like, they were trying to do so much. And it never became so apparent until this season. And I've heard people say, I have to agree with some critics who say that this third season is a little lopsided. The first season was all about why our parents are doing this. And then you discover, at the tail end, this is why they're doing this. There's this alien named Jonah, who's here, he's evil, he's corrupted this, church and turned it into pretty much a fanatical cult. And he's trying to blow up. He's trying to he's trying to free his family because like his family came on. Because apparently this alien named Jonah, who's a being of light, came down on this spaceship. They crash landed. He's the only one to survive it, and he's been trying to free his family for a couple hundred years now. And the only way he knows how to do it is to basically shake the fucking Earth's crust, and it might destroy LA trying to free them. And needless to say, and you find out that's why the parents are doing what they're doing. And then the second season had a goal too, stop Jonah. The second season was all about stopping Jonah from freeing these people. Stopping Jonah, dealing with their parents. Their parents' past become more, visible. Discovering more about their power. Discovering more about who they are and come from. And this third season was a little... Half the season, they're still dealing with this Jonah shit. And I think this season suffered because they introduced the main villain that they really introduced, other than I don't even know what to call that race of glowing people that Jonah was from, but other than them, because like they do have to end up dealing with them, like they bring in Morgan Le Fay. And now if you're a Marvel fan or a fan of any kind of literature in general, because Morgan Le Fay is a character who's been used in many different things, Morgan Le Fay is a powerful sorceress. She's usually a villain. I believe she is a villain to the Runaways themselves, to Nico. She's been a villain to Doctor Strange. Anyone who really is a good guy who deals in magic in the Marvel Universe. Morgan Le Fay is well known for that. And the actress they have played Morgan Le Fay, oh my goodness, she is beautiful. I can't remember her name, but she's one of those older actresses, and I'm saying older with quotes. She's like a Marissa Tomei-like actress, but maybe even more because she's because Marissa Tomei is 50, and some people don't think that. She's like 51. And this actress, I believe she is about 52, about 45 to 52, and she is so gorgeous. I was like, holy shit. She might be older, but man. But yeah, she plays a great job of being... she does she does a great job of being this British evil villain. The typical, like a Loki. That's how she kind of plays her character, is like a female Loki. She's mischievous, she's witty, she's British, she's sexy as all get out, she's narcissistic. She really plays her character like a female Loki, and I like it. Problem with the season is that half the season is still bogged down on old shit. And it's like, okay, so we have to deal with this old shit so that we can move forward with the actual stuff that's actually interesting, which is the magical aspect in Nico and what's going on with Nico. And if she's giving it to the dark side, her eyes are turning black. By the way, this season to me kind of confirms that these shows never took place in the same universe. Because at one point they go to the Dark Dimension. Now, if you're a Marvel MCU fan, you know that the Dark Dimension don't look like that. I saw the Dark Dimension. That shit was just like an endless pile of rainbow Jack Kirby colors. It didn't look like that. Now, maybe they're coming up with a concept here, but it didn't look like that. And magic doesn't look like that. And then they confirmed that Doctor Strange's magic really doesn't look like that either. So... I don't know. Maybe it still does. Maybe it doesn't. Who really knows? But anyways, The second half of this season, I almost have to give it 2 ratings. The first half of the season is a 6, and the second half is an 8. It's an 8.5. I really enjoyed the second half of this show, but the first half was so bogged down with old stuff, and it just kind of, it never kicked into gear for me. And there's a lot of circle running. I could feel the budget of the show, especially with some things that were happening. You know what? All in all, I enjoyed this season. I think this might be the weakest season, though. It's the least most focused season. It's more lopsided than the other 2 seasons. Like I said, season 1 gave you something that you didn't even get out of the comic books, which was context to villains being villains, and how you can get to being a villain, and how that can break up a family, and how that can break up a family. Season 2 was the actual Runaways dealing with their issues, dealing with their family. They had a goal. You know, Carolina was dealing with the fact that she's an alien. Nico was dealing with the fact, dealing with, how she feels about her mother. Alex for dealing with things. And by the time the 3rd season, and when the 3rd season starts, it's really just kind of a slog. It's really a slog. Everyone's forgiven everyone, just forgiving everyone. And that's all I can really say about it. It's kind of sad that this is their last season, really, because I would have really liked to see a good season where there is no personal things going on, just a team doing a team thing. I often think that all the time. I thought that at Jessica Jones as well. One of my few problems with Jessica Jones was I thought season 2 should have just been a case, just like this one was. I thought Jessica Jones should have worked more cases, just cases that aren't built into her personal. She's a PI. I like watching. She's a PI. Let her do some PI stuff that just happen to have someone who might have superpowers. But and this show, the same thing. It's kind of sad that it's gonna end on like this note. But yeah, this will be the last. This is one of the last of dying breeds. Like, you will not be seeing too many Marvel television produced by Marvel Television after this. It's gonna be this and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hellstorm, if that ever actually happens. But that's it. After that, you're not gonna see it anymore. You might see it on the animated stuff that they come out with, but that's it, man. You're not gonna see it anymore. Runaways is one of the last of the dying breed of Marvel Television, and I like this series. It's a really good series. Really, this is barely a review of the 3rd season. It is a review of the 3rd season. I just told you how I feel about the 3rd season. I think it's the weakest season, but I still enjoyed myself. But the show, all in all, Runaways as a whole, I think was a hell of an adaptation. It was greatly adapted. It kind of hurts me a little bit because I know that Kevin Feige, and it had been rumored for many years, wanted to make it into a movie series. And now it kind of bothers me that I'm like, oh man, could you imagine where these characters would be if he had adapted them into a movie series? Like, these characters would be like some of the big, because like I love some of these characters. Gert is awesome. I love Gert. I love the actress they cast as Gert. I'd love to see her on a bigger stage. And out of all the cast and out of all the people, all the groups of people or whatever that I would love to see come back, these ones would be up there. The Charlie Cox, obviously, Vincent D'Onofrio, but I would love to see this cast come back. The Cloak and Dagger show up in this season. It's not much of a spoiler because it's in a random episode, and it was a cool little crossover, but it really was just a cool little crossover. It's the definition. It was just a cool little cameo. Well, they were there for a whole, they popped up for about an episode or 2, I believe. Maybe 1. But yeah, it popped up, they had a cool little cameo, they had cool exchanges. There's some of the fight choreography is a little awkward because, it's TV. Which is why I'm like, I don't know how sad I am for some of these TV stuff ending, because I'm like, I want to see, I know it could be better. I know it can be better. And I want to see better. Not in terms of storytelling and in terms of acting, but in terms of the quality, the visual quality, the action, the CGI, the scale. I just know it can be better. And I'd rather kill it now so we can do it better again, and it'll be in the MCU. These characters will live there, and they can grow and become bigger parts of the further universe. So thank you guys for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. I enjoyed this 3rd season. I didn't think it was as strong as the other seasons, but I did enjoy it. Thank you for joining me on Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.